Welcome back to Good Day. It's time for Mother Knows Best, and we've got some interesting stories that we're talking about today. First off, I'm going to give a little background at what we're talking about. In Nebraska, a principal had an unusual response to the government shutdown. On October 7th, Pat Jones told his students at Alliance High School that they would no longer be reciting the Pledge of Allegiance because the government was closed. Some of the students were upset. I guess others didn't really care one way or another. One student actually stood up and recited it anyway, and then this only lasted for one day. People were very upset about it, and people were wondering, he didn't start the ban until 6 days after the shutdown, or why did it only happen for one day? But the superintendent said that the plan had not been cleared with administrators ahead of time. He was glad that the principal did get students talking about what was happening in government, but the school would not be skipping the pledge again. So this only happened for one day, but we want to hear what your thoughts are on this.
Well, I think it was a poorly planned out thing, but I don't know who's not frustrated right now. I mean, I'm really wondering if most of the people in D.C., how they put their underwear on in the morning. I mean, seriously, we have to turn it off sometimes. I feel my blood pressure going up. Yeah. And I think it's important to involve the children in that, but this just seemed like it was really poorly thought out. It was kind of maybe a spur of the moment thing he thought of that morning.
Yeah, it did seem like he was kind of brewing that day, and it was just a decision that he made at the particular time. But I think it sets a bad example for the kids that when things are kind of in disarray, just abandon ship altogether. We've got to teach our children that even when things are not going well, to still be strong and hold together, united as a country. And it does seem like this is something that we're getting away from. There's been so much divide, and I'm not a political person by any means, but I have noticed that there has been a great divide, and then of course you can see that in the government shutdown. And it was just a poor example for the kids, for him to do.
We're going to be back in a moment to hear Tracy's thoughts on this. Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Day. We're with Mother Knows Best right now, and we were talking about this story real quick. A Nebraska principal told his school that they would no longer be reciting the Pledge of Allegiance because the government was shut down. This happened for one day, and it went back to normal the next. We're getting our mother's opinions on this, and we left off with Tracy.
Yeah. I understand from an educator's perspective that you want to sensitize children to what's going on in the country. And especially in high schools, middle schools, they're so focused on themselves and how their hair looks today that they're not really thinking about what's happening in Washington, D.C. So I think it was a great idea. I just think it was so poorly executed. And to come from the principal's level made it even a more poorly executed choice. Probably the better idea would have had the social studies or government teachers talk about that and speak in terms of a hypothetical. To me, the tragedy in all this is some kids didn't even care that they didn't get the Pledge of Allegiance recited. But I agree that it was probably a great idea that was extremely poorly educated. But ultimately, it's on us as parents to sensitize our children to what does the shutdown mean for our country? What does it mean for our friends who are part of the government? Let us take care of that at home, and if you want to do it, don't do it in a radical way. Let us take care of that.
How do you, and is it important to you, to instill patriotism in your kids, and with all of the desensitivity that you've mentioned, how do you do that?
I think it's very important. I mean, with me not as being as political as, say, Tracy or Janet, I'm not as involved, but Travis and I do talk to our kids about it, because the laws and everything that's going on in the government system will eventually, if not already, affect us in one way or the other. My kids, they do have a lot of questions about it. They do hear comments at school. They do hear the teachers talking among themselves, and they do have a lot of questions. And if I don't know the answer, then I will go and read about it or ask someone about it. But if you don't educate your kids as they grow older, they won't know how to handle issues when it's their time to vote and their time to make decisions.
And I think it starts really early, Kelly. I think it starts with things as simple as the Pledge of Allegiance. My little son, when the Pledge of Allegiance comes on, it's like, son, we're not playing. You stand up, put your hand over your heart. This means something. We're not just saying idle words. And I think if you instill that and your kids see that, then that helps them to begin to understand. I don't think I'm a political creature so much as I have strongly held beliefs about things. And it may side with one party one time and one party another time. But I do want my children to be people of principle. And so I'm pretty firm about that, talking about that.
And I think the important thing is I've learned as my children have gotten older is that they're probably not going to agree with your politics when they grow up. My niece, my great niece is 20. She's in college. She is, you know, way on the other side than I am. And she's worked on campaigns, but I am constantly praising her and encouraging her because I'm so proud to see a 20-year-old that's really involved in the system and cares enough to be out there doing it. So I think first off we have to realize they may not agree with us, but you know, the fact that they care enough about their country to be out there doing something is huge because unfortunately you don't see that many young people that do.
Yeah.
How do you handle keeping them involved in current events and helping them to understand things that are going on?
Well, one of the things that my children, before we moved here, when they were having the elections, they were actually able to go and cast their votes during election
that's
time. And they were so excited about that. They were actually involved. They were asking questions. And that inspired me and Travis to talk about it a little bit more at home when it comes to stuff like that. And I think we've incorporated voting in court and all this other good stuff with our family activities around the house. So it's just taking a little bit of what's going on in the real world and bringing it down to a kid's level and applying it around the house.
Actually, we have conversations about it at our house all the time over the dinner table. Plus, I mean, my Facebook page is covered with what I think about particular issues. And of course, they're my Facebook friends, so they see stuff like that. But it comes up a lot in our conversation, and we talk about it. And I do want them to have their own opinions about it, but I want them to think.
Sure. Very good. Well, we're going to be back in just a moment to talk about another interesting topic. This mother who's incredibly fit posted a picture of her with her 3 little kids, and it's caused quite a controversy. We'll show you the picture, and we'll tell you what the moms think when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Day and Mother Knows Best. A very interesting story that's going viral right now. A former pageant queen and fitness competitor, Maria Kang, put a photo up on her Facebook page. Here it is right here. We're going to hold that up for just a minute. And it's been almost a year since she's first put this photo up. People are either loving it or they are outraged that she has done this. Some people are calling her a bully, saying that she's fat shaming. And she said that she understands that people are angry, but the negative reactions are still frustrating her. She defends the photo. She says she was trying to be inspirational. She reposted the photo recently. I think that's why it's going viral now, to respond to all the criticism. She said that she's sorry that people resonated the image in such a negative way, but the interpretations are not her fault. And this new post now has sparked all this new controversy, and still people are very upset, thinking that she's kind of just, you know, taunting and being mean. What are your thoughts?
I'm Team Maria. I mean, I look at that as an inspiration, especially when you go back and read her story, because she does come from a past where she had an eating disorder. And when I went back and read over everything that she had put down on her blog and on her website, it was like she made up the mindset, no more excuses. I'm going to do this the right way. I'm going to do this the fit way. I'm going to do this the healthy way. And it became her slogan. Wow. I mean, one of the things that is a sore spot for me is when people hate on the next person for achieving a milestone because you have yet to achieve it. So, I mean, of course, I'm conservative with pictures. You wouldn't see me up there with a 2-piece. I don't want to scare anybody, but, you know, but I really do. My hat is off to her because it took a lot of work, a lot of discipline. And I say, you know, keep doing what you're doing.
Go, go, go. Everybody's looking at each other.
I told everybody on the break that I was not going to be on the I was going to be on the other side of this issue. So I guess that's what we're waiting on.
Yes.
I will tell you that. No, my eyes are watering because of the lights. But I don't know that I would go so far as to call her a bully, but I also can't go so far as to call her inspirational. I understand that that was her motivation, but almost like the last segment where we're talking about great idea, poorly executed, and that's what category I would put this in. First of all, to say, what's your excuse? To me, that's not motivating. What would be better is if she took that exact same picture. Okay, I'm with you. I wouldn't do it in a swimsuit. That's just me. I just don't think that's right. But what wouldn't a better caption be is, you know, we can do this. or something like that other than what's your excuse. The biggest problem that I have is we already have a generation of girls. We have too many people who are focused on what you look on the outside. And that picture says nothing about what's on Maria's inside. I mean, yeah, she spends a lot of time working. Fitness is a real goal for her, and she does have 3 well-groomed, apparently well-behaved children. Great, but to me, it wasn't motivational. I come from a family of genetically morbidly obese people, and so is that my excuse? I guess it is. I guess that's my excuse. What I'd prefer is to have Maria, how about a group of other people of all different shapes and sizes and saying, we're doing this together. Wouldn't that have been a more motivating thing other than, hey, if you don't look like me, then something's wrong in your life. You're just relying on excuses if you don't look like this. You know what, I don't look like that, and I have other priorities, and it's okay. I'm concerned about what's on the inside is more important than that.
Very good viewpoints, both of you. We're going to be back in just a moment to learn more. Maybe Janet will pitch in and we'll hear what she has to say about all this. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mother Knows Best. If we can get that picture pulled up one more time for everyone to take a look at. We've been talking about this picture that a woman posted on her Facebook page. There's been lots of criticism, but we left off kind of talking to different sides here, Tracy and Bridget, but we love being able to see both sides because we know there are plenty of people thinking both of the things that you're both thinking this morning. But Janet, what do you have to say?
Well, I think, I went and read some of her things, and this was put on her Facebook in the context of what she does to encourage people and motivate people. I think she looks amazing, and I have nothing but love for her because I think what she's doing is amazing. And I do have excuses. It's been a hard day, so I'm going to eat 2 Nutty Buddies at night instead of 1, Oh. And I understand, and it's too hot to go walk today. Come on. And, if I exercised, I could be a lot skinnier than I am, but it's just not my favorite thing to do. So I think if we need a lot less judgment in this world and a lot more love. And I always say if I had the body I had at 25, and the wisdom I have now, I would rule the world.
Watch out.
And the fact that she, girls die every day from eating disorders. And the fact that she was able to take that and totally flip it around, she's now become an example for all of these young girls and women and men that are battling with eating disorders. Okay, this is how I was able to turn my life away. And then the wonderful thing about it, she wrote a book, and it's free, and she uploaded it where she put down her dietary a regimen and her exercise regimen, and she put it up online. I understand from the outside looking in, she may come off as cocky, but anytime you accomplish a dream or a goal, you want the whole world to know about it. And then when someone comes down and they pop your bubble, it's discouraging on that. And so, of course, like I said, I'm not game for the whole, 2-piece thing, but
oh, I'd be in a 2-piece if I looked like that.
Travis wouldn't let me.
But I'm going to tell you, I don't think that I don't think she comes across as cocky. What I think she comes across as I agree. She has a great thing to celebrate. But the problem is, if you have that celebrity, along with celebrity comes a responsibility, and you need to consider, if you're going to post that picture to say, I've got it, you need to think about what all the possibilities are, and maybe there was a different way to do that so that it was more inspirational and less alienating. I agree that there are probably people out there who look at that and say, what's your excuse? Yeah, I do make a lot of excuses. But there are also women who are looking at that and saying, dang, I'm never going to be that. And there are girls with eating disorders who are not reading the Facebook post. They're looking at just that one image and saying, oh, if I just stop eating today, I can look like that. So I'm just saying, you need to be careful in your execution. You really do.
She was not a celebrity. She was just someone who started it, and it went viral. She had
no idea. And
now she's got an opportunity to turn that around, and I don't think she's yet doing that. Where's the new picture with all the other moms?
Well, I think my advice would be, if she's not an inspiration for you, then find a fitness trainer that is. But people like me, who are hoorah people, who are who were raised in homes,
I think I'm a hoorah person.
Who are no excuses. If you want it, do it. If you're not going to do it, then sit back and S word, like my son says, shut up. Just sit back and just So I was raised in a go hard or go home type generation, and so she's the person for me. I'm sucking in my gut, and I'm gonna go home and do some crunches.
So I think what it kind of sounds like that, you know, people are motivated in different ways.
Right. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so depending on who you are, you're going to take this picture in a different way. So,
Yeah.
you know, just everybody's motivated in different ways, and I think both of you have made, you know, really great points, and many people are thinking, and I'm sure there's somebody else out there with a totally different opinion as both
Yeah.
of you,
Yeah.
because everybody's motivated differently, but I think it's good. How do you talk with your sons or your girls about something like this that they might see? How do you handle that?
Well, I look at my daughters for inspirations too, because they've got the little abs and mama got the well, I look at my daughters for inspiration too. So we exercise together. They do Zumba. They have a fun laughing at me or whatever. So my girls are actually my inspiration. They're athletic. They take after their daddy. And so it's an easy conversation to have at the house. They're happy with their bodies, you know, and I'm grateful to have confident daughters. So that's not an issue for us right now.
Yeah, I have girls on two ends of the spectrum. I mean, I have one who would probably not even give this a moment's thought, and then I have the other child who would say, Mom, I'm never going to be that girl, and I can give her all the pep talks in the world, but her priorities would be different. She would be earnestly searching after something else other than the body image.
Well, we do thank you all for sharing your opinions on this. A great conversation today. If you have any topic ideas, you can email us at mothers@wfxl.com. You can go to mysouthwestg.com for more information. We'll be back in the morning at 5 a.m. Have a wonderful Thursday.